Ever feel like you're doing all the right things and still wondering why your body feels off? You eat well, you train hard, your labs say you're fine, but deep down you know something's slipping. You're not alone and you're not crazy. I'm Daniel Rasmussen, founder of Echelon Center for Longevity, and I've spent 2 decades helping high performers like you to reverse aging, reignite vitality, and finally get answers. On Unbreakable Vitality, we go upstream. We talk peptides, stem cells, precision diagnostic testing, reversing the age of your arteries, all the innovative science-based tools to take back your health span so that your next decades are your best yet. Because aging is real, but decline is optional. Welcome back to Unbreakable Vitality, where we break down the science of longevity into real-world strategies that you can actually use. Today's Peptide Spotlight episode focuses on one of the most versatile and powerful stacks that we use inside our regenerative protocols and our Ageless Future personal peptide programs. We call it the Healing Stack. It's a blend of BPC-157, TB-500, GHK-Copper, and KPV. If you've dealt with chronic inflammation, gut dysfunction, injuries that just won't heal, skin or connective tissue degeneration, or post-viral fatigue, this combination can be transformative. Before we dive in, remember, if you want to learn how we integrate peptides like those into full clinical longevity programs, come join us at the Ageless Future Longevity Summit in Seattle. Visit agelessfutureseattle.com to apply. Now, let's talk about why this peptide stack is one of our favorites. So when we talk about healing, we're really talking about 4 biological processes. First, you've got to reduce inflammation. Second, you can start restoring tissue signaling and then rebuilding structural proteins and repairing barriers like the gut lining or the skin. This healing stack addresses all 4. Let's start with BPC-157, short for body protective compound. This peptide was originally isolated from the gastric juice, and it's been studied for its ability to repair intestinal lining, accelerate tendon and ligament healing, and restore endothelial function in blood vessels. In animal models, BPC-157 has demonstrated remarkable effects at angiogenesis, which is the formation of new blood vessels, which is critical in traditional Chinese medicine. One of the main root causes for any kind of pain, dysfunction, and chronic degeneration is blood stagnation or blood stasis, leading to a lack of oxygenation to the tissues, no nutrients, no hormones, no tissue growth factors can get in there. So angiogenesis is critical. And next, we look at TB-500, which is a synthetic version of thymosin beta-4. TB-500 acts like a cellular mobilizer. It promotes the migration of stem cells and repair cells into those injured areas and helps regulate actin, which is the structural protein that governs cell movement and tissue flexibility. So in practical terms, this means faster recovery from muscle strains, ligament injuries, tendinitis, surgical trauma, things like this. So when we add GHK-Copper in there, this is a copper binding peptide naturally present in human plasma. GHK-Copper has been shown to activate over 4,000 genes associated with tissue repair, and regeneration. It boosts collagen synthesis, it enhances wound healing, and it improves skin elasticity. So, which is why it's used both medically and cosmetically. Finally, we've got KPV, which is a tripeptide fragment. And it's derived from alpha MSH, alpha melanocyte stimulating hormone, MSH. So KPV is a powerful anti-inflammatory peptide that reduces cytokine activity like TNF-alpha and interleukin-6 or IL-6. It's particularly valuable for calming inflammatory bowel conditions, autoimmune flare-ups, and systemic inflammation. Together, these peptides create a multi-layer healing cascade. BPC-157 repairs the gut and the vascular lining. TB-500 mobilizes repair cells. GHK-Copper rebuilds connective tissue, and KPV quiets the inflammatory storm that blocks all the healing. So in our protocols, the stack forms the backbone of many regenerative programs because it works on both structural repair and inflammatory regulation simultaneously. In terms of our Ageless Future protocols, this healing stack is incredibly versatile. We use it across a wide range of conditions and health goals. So for orthopedic recovery, it's one of the first stacks we deploy. Patients recovering from tendon tears, ligament injuries, joint degeneration often see accelerated healing when these peptides are used alongside stem cell therapies and PRP and plasma exchange and ozone treatments. So now also joint degeneration, right? We've got cartilage that needs to be addressed as well. Now TB-500 and BPC-157, we've seen clinically is they're increasing vascularization, that's the angiogenesis, and cellular migration to the injured tissue. So if you can give the body time to build and form those new microvessels to the injured sites, now the body has improved access for healing, regeneration, and repair. So this is a game changer. Then once that vascularization is restored, GHK-copper starts to rebuild the connective tissue matrix, proteins like collagen and elastin. Another major application is gut restoration. Chronic inflammation in the gut can drive everything from brain fog to autoimmune disorders and everything in between. It's a foundational aspect of health. BPC-157 and KPV together help seal the intestinal lining. They seal up those tight junctions. They reduce the cytokine signaling local to the gut, and they restore mucosal integrity. So we've seen clients with years of IBS symptoms begin for the first time to normalize their digestion in just a few weeks. And when these peptides are layered into a proper, gentle detoxification protocol, phase 1, 2, and 3 detoxification, you push the toxins out, you catch them, push them in, and then they're entered into the digestive tract where we bind them. And now the bowel can eliminate them. That's the phase 3 detox. And also helps with rebalancing the microbiome, among other protocols, nutritional supplement probiotics targeted based on a GI-FX stool panel. But this stack is also valuable for systemic inflammation and immune dysregulation. So post-viral fatigue, long COVID, and autoimmune flare-ups often involve persistent inflammatory signaling. KPV dampens the cytokine cascade while GHK-copper promotes tissue and repair and mitochondrial function. Then we got cosmetic and skin rejuvenation is another area where the stack really shines. GHK-copper in particular has been shown in research literature to improve skin thickness, elasticity, and wound healing. So when they're combined with peptides that improve circulation and reduce inflammation, the results often extend beyond the skin and improving even hair quality and connective tissue resilience as well. Perhaps the most exciting is how this stack prepares the body for deeper regenerative therapies. When inflammation is reduced, tissues begin repairing themselves. Stem cell or exosome treatments can work more effectively. In other words, this peptide stack often acts as the foundational layer before more advanced interventions. It's the preparation phase in our GPF method. So in most cases, this healing stack is delivered via subcutaneous injection on a daily basis, usually 5 days on, 2 days off. It allows peptides to enter the systemic circulation and reach those damaged tissues quickly. Now, a typical dose might be 250 to 500 micrograms daily. For TB-500, it might be 2 to 5 milligrams weekly. And GHK-copper, 1 to 2 milligrams several times a week. Or we do topical applications for skin protocols. KPV, we want to get 2 to 500 micrograms daily, depending on inflammatory burden. Timing always depends on the goal. For injury recovery, we want to do peptides that are often taken consistently for 4 to 8 weeks to accelerate that tissue remodeling. For inflammatory conditions like gut disorders, we got to go longer. Yeah, those cycles may extend 8 to 12 weeks before we start tapering it. We also cycle these peptides with intention and precision and strategy. So continuous exposure to signaling molecules can eventually blunt receptors' receptiveness. So cycling allows the body to regain that sensitivity and maintain the signal effectiveness. Another key factor is stacking these peptides. The healing stack is often paired with mitochondrial peptides like MOT-SC or metabolic modulators like 5-amino-1-MQ. So in these cases, the healing peptides reduce inflammatory resistance while metabolic peptides enhance energy production. And as always, peptide use should be guided by diagnostic testing, including baseline inflammatory markers, because the type of inflammatory markers matter. And it matters which peptides we use and which ones we choose. The gut panel is important. We've got to look at where your gut barrier lining dysfunction and leaky gut, what range it's in, how severe it's at, what are the inflammation markers are in the gut that are like zonulin, for example. Your secretory IgA is another one that we look at. LPS, all these things have to be strategically placed in an order that's going to work. Just feeling good and wanting to heal is not a diagnosis. You want to get a real diagnosis that makes the results and move the needle. So precision medicine always beats guesswork. The popularity of peptides has unfortunately led to a surge of online vendors selling research-only peptides. These are often advertised as a cheaper alternative to pharmaceutical-grade compounds. The problem is quality control. Research peptides frequently lack sterility testing. They're not sterile. They lack accurate dosing verification, and purity standards are sketchy. Independent testing has shown many of these products contain peptide sequences, despite the claim that they have their own research data supporting the purity. So trust nothing that's in the gray market. It's just not worth the risk on your health, on your genetics, on your DNA. Injecting such substances can lead to an infection, an immune reaction, or simply ineffective therapy. At Ageless Future, we use only peptides sourced from 503A and 503B compounding pharmacy. These facilities follow strict quality standards and provide pharmaceutical-grade formulations. We also match peptide protocols to patient diagnostics and monitor progress through follow-up testing. This clinical oversight both safety and effectiveness. Peptides are powerful biological tools, but like any advanced therapy, they should be used under proper medical guidance, not as a biohacking, experiment. If chronic inflammation and injuries or slow recovery are holding you back, the healing stack might be exactly what your body needs. At the Ageless Future Longevity Summit, we break down how all these peptides integrate with regenerative medicine, metabolic therapy, and personalized longevity protocols, improving your health span for as long into the future as possible. That's what our definition of longevity is. Apply to attend this next summit at agelessfutureseattle.com and see how precision peptide therapy can help you heal faster and age stronger. Next episode, we're going to explore another fascinating peptide with huge implications for metabolic health and muscle preservation. I'll see you then.
If you're feeling like your energy, your edge, or your clarity just isn't what it used to be, you're not alone. But you're also not stuck. Every week on Unbreakable Vitality, we explore real strategies to reverse aging, reclaim vitality, and rewrite what's possible. If today's episode gave you even one insight, pass it on. Then go take the free vascular age quiz at echelon-longevity.com/quiz to see how your body's aging. Subscribe, leave a review, and follow us because your future isn't on autopilot. You are building it and you're just getting started.